I got a feeling that you got me covered too. I got you covered. I got you covered. I got a feeling that you got me covered too. I got you covered. I got you covered.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Was having some technical difficulties, if you haven't been able to tell. My computer does not want to work today. I don't know why. The internet's good. I've turned off everything possible, but who knows, right? But anyway, welcome to Blessed to Crochet. And hopefully everything will get with it. Hi, Jaden. Um, so I don't know why everything's slow, but we'll get there, right? Um, Anyway, I did this and I want to make it very clear that it is not, you know, I don't want it to be as if, hi, Shelly, that you have to do Weight Watchers. But I want to do this in a way that says, you know what? Let's look at this from a perspective of I don't care what you do that gets you to whatever goal you're getting in life. Let's do it, right? Whether it's using Weight Watchers as a tool in your toolbox, whether it's using an app that you can literally say every time you put something in your mouth, you are literally putting it in some kind of app. Whatever is going to make you stay on track and realize what you're doing is really the key to it. It's not necessarily that you're doing Weight Watchers. You don't have to do that. But you need to do whatever you need to do in order to say, I'm not happy where I'm sitting. When Christina got married, I was at 250, and that was August of 2022. Now it's 2024, and what got for me that thing that was the tipping scale was I got on the scale and I'm like, I'm at 280.8. Done. That for me was like, oh, no, 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 no. I have been at 300. I've been at 305 in my life. We're not going there. We're not going back to where we were. That for me was the push to say, enough's enough. And I would love to get back on Optavia. I loved Optavia, but I can't afford Optavia. Optavia is love you too. Optavia for to be able to do their program and order their food and everything is about $350 to $400. I don't have that resource right now. So, what can I do that's going to keep me on track and make the scale go this way versus that way? If you're happy where you're sitting weight wise, then that's fine. Be your beautiful self. You don't have to sit here and say, "Well, um, I I'm it, I'm happy." I just my thing for me was I don't want to see the scale go to 300 because I worked so hard to lose that 50 before Christina's wedding. Do I want to put that extra 20 pounds back on? Do I want to go there? And no, I'm still beautiful and I'm still me, whether no matter what I'm sitting at. But for me, it was like when I saw that scale get at 280 the other day, I was like, no, 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 we're done. You got to go back down. What can I use? So when I have done Weight Watchers before back in my teen years, and I was successful a little bit. But those were before the days of all the apps, right? And all the ways of being able to go on, and we had a book, right? We had to look at what we ate. We had to go to the book. We had to figure out the points. We had to write the points down. We had to calculate the points, right? So what that was a whole rigmarole, okay, to be able to do that at the time. This this app makes it so much easier to keep track of your water. If you're carrying your phone around, it keeps track of your activities and your steps. It keeps track of your food. Like I can just go take it and scan it and say, okay, that's that many. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out. So to me, I didn't want people to think you had to sign up for Weight Watchers. But the reason I did the description the way I did was because I wanted people to realize something. Whatever you choose to do, you have to do something. You can't just sit there and go, well, I'll do this and I'll do you have to pick something. And we had talked about it and I need hi Brazy Girl, we need to have come up with a name. I want to use something with the disco balls. But I want to do a group, a Facebook group that we could get in, share recipes, healthy recipes, be accountable to each other, and so forth. And I think that would be a really, really good idea. Um, you don't have to be on the Weight Watchers program, but there are so many apps out there today that you can get on and see and keep track of your calorie count. I had a doctor one time when I was starting Optavia say, "You know what?" Or I was on Optavia, and they said, "You know what? If you have 1,000 points or 1,000, 1,100 in your calorie count a day between 1,000 to 1,100, most people will lose weight. A lot of people won't stick to it, and it's the truth. And I uh, I've looked at keto, and those that are doing keto, awesome. The problem with keto, and even to some degree, the problem with Weight Watchers, is for me and for my husband, who he's on it too, and so is Christina. I am very sensitive to any kind of artificial sweetener. If I have artificial sweetener, it will literally put me into a migraine for days. It triggers a really bad migraine episode that I don't want to have to go down with. So there's a lot of sugar-free recipes that I can't touch with a 10-foot pole, neither can my husband, because of the migraine mess afterwards. I don't want to deal with it. No, we're not going there. So I for instance, the other day, and I told this story a couple days ago, I had bought those Jabanos Greek yogurts with the little dessert trays on the one side, and I thought, well, they're 100, I think they were 150 calories. These are pretty reasonable. They're most likely they're going to be, healthy. It's yogurt. How can I mess this up, right? Well, I went to scan it. Those things were 7 points, but I did a test, right? I ate it at 10:30 because I had points left and I wanted to use them up. And at 11:30, guess what? I was hungry again. Is this worth 7 points? And I'm just using it from a Weight Watcher standpoint. But is this worth it? Is it leaving me full long enough to really make this worth the calories going in my body? So I decided, well, it was 11:50, and I thought, well, you know what? I still have some points left. Now I miscalculated on it, and I decided to do a cup of yogurt. This was a recipe. Now this was using the recipe that came through was using sugar-free pudding mix, right? Instant pudding mix. I can't touch the sugar-free. Well, I thought it was still 2 points, it's not, and I may need to go back and scan it when I'm at the grocery store, but it ended up being, like, 6 points for 2 tablespoons, I think. The yogurt is totally free in point-wise, but it was 6 or 7 points, somewhere around there. But here's the thing about it. 6 points deducted from my thing, and I had some extra weekly extra bonus points, right? 6 points, from it. I had that at 11, around 11:40, 11:50. I usually at 2:30 in the morning would have probably been hungry again. I wasn't hungry. I was able to have I have to eat at nighttime before I take my medicine, so I took my medicine, I had my thing, and at 2:30 in the morning when I was really finally getting sleepy, I wasn't hungry. And I thought, what do I wanna have? This little bit of this little container worth of yogurt or a whole cup of plain yogurt that at the end of the time period, I'm now still full. I'm still satisfied and I'm still full, you know? So that was something backlash fisherman. No, I haven't gotten tangled up in the yarn yet. Haven't crocheted yet today. I've been busy. But my point of it is, which would you rather do? You have to choose. I was having something with more protein in it, more satisfying, more of an amount in my body. So now we're having 7 we're having 7 points, and I hope that that's not going to stay that way because I'm frozen in the most unattractive thing picture you can imagine. I hope it'll clear itself in a minute. I know I'm frozen, so I'm gonna continue, but boy, what an unattractive face that makes. I'll have to make a thumbnail of it. Hopefully, it kicks back into gear in a minute. Um, but, you know, I thought about it, I thought, if I'm gonna choose between 7 there we go, thank goodness. 7 points, right, of the cup of non-fat Greek yogurt with the 2 tablespoons of the gelatin pudding mix in it, right? Now, the one thing I did find is I added a little bit of water to it, and it helped to make it a little bit more it didn't make it so drying because when you put the 2 tablespoons of the, um of the, gelatin in it or the pudding mix, it dries it out a little bit. So adding a little bit of the water, moisture, or skim milk or almond milk, um, it just added a little bit of moisture to it. Now I had it at 6 o'clock tonight too. I had another cup of thing with my two tablespoons. I put it into my little appy poo on my phone, my little Weight Watchers thing. I am fine. I'm not the least bit hungry. So if I'm gonna choose between the original Chapani yogurt that I was thinking, "Oh, this is wonderful, this is healthy," right? Or the other thing that I'm making, I'm gonna choose that because it keeps me fuller longer. But my point of it is, you've got to find something. There are so many apps on the tubes on the app store, right? That you can find that you can use to put everything in there. Everything that goes in your mouth, you put it down on the app. Because at the end of the day, if you're consuming more calories than your body can do, it has to go into a little bit of a deficit. You're not going to lose anything. I get it. Did you say exercise? I get the exercise. Because here's my other part of the thing, I have to stay away from the sugar-free. There's tons of wonderful sugar-free recipes that if they have artificial sweetener, I can't touch them. But here's the other thing, the exercise can be a real struggle for me because there's days well, that's wonderful, Crafty. Go ahead and crochet. Maybe I'll get there today. Um, you know, it's not that I don't want to exercise. But if I'm in a high pain level, I can't. Depending on how tired I am, depending on how I'm feeling that day, depends all of how much I can move. Now, this morning I woke up, I was pretty good. I had my coffee and I got up. I don't know what I've done to my lovely back, but it wants to tell me how pissed off it is at me. So I've had to be very careful with what I have done and how I've moved today. I've already had to put ice on it. I don't know what I've done to my back, but I'm not going for any kind of long walks or even a 10-minute walk today. I'm being very gingerly about how I move around today. I don't know what I did to my back. So when you're living with the fibromyalgia part of it, it comes down to it comes down to what can when can you do, how do you feel motivated to do, are you up to doing it? One thing, and I was on Pup Groomer 20s live, and somebody said something, and it just about hit me over the head. And they said, people that are living in chronic pain tend to self isolate themselves. And I'm like, ding, ding, ding. That's the truth because people don't understand this. Just press through it. Just keep going. They have no idea. I was tired with a migraine last night, and I could not put myself to sleep till almost 4:30 in the morning. It doesn't make sense to a lot of people. It doesn't make sense to my head. How are we supposed to do this? This whole thing with all of these relationships that have been created through the YouTubes and the Lifeboat and all these other channels that are rippled off of them, people don't understand. How can you have friends like that? If you're self-isolating yourself because you're in pain, then this may be your only connection throughout the day, right? Get my water in for today. And the link for our fourth world star came up. Guys, look. So cool, right? This is a really nice mug, and it's available in the fourth world store if anybody's interested. I'll be using it at church tomorrow when we go for the church for church thing. But when you're self isolating yourself, what happens? You're not communicating with anybody, are you? You're not. Thank you, Brazy Girl. You're not talking to anybody. Is it a lot easier to make food your friend? That's what the basis of it comes down to. Determination can be a tremendous, tremendous motivator. And getting pissed off enough can also be a great motivator. When I got on that scale and it said 280.8, I'm like, this was Sunday. I said, I'm done. I got to find something. I have to do something. I can't go back there again. My 270 wasn't enough. My 275, but that 280.8, done. Now I weighed myself today. I'm 278.4. Do you know how hard this is on my channel to tell you what I weigh? I don't give a rat's behind. I really don't. Because I want people to understand this journey. I want people to understand I'm going to tell you exactly what I weigh. I'm going to tell you when I failed miserably. I'm going to tell you when I did a great accomplishment. I got on that. I've lost 2.4 pounds. To me, that's huge because I'm not going this way. I'm coming back this way. I'm going to have everybody here help keep me accountable to what I know I need to do because this is not good. My husband is doing the same thing. Jason P says, Crafty and Mary are fibromyalgia warrior sisters. I see Crafty on days when she barely can't move and let alone exercise or walk. I totally get it. I said, I don't know what I did with my back, but I'm in a lot. You may not see it, but I'm in pain. I don't know what I did to it, but man alive, does it hurt. So I wanted to do this from a perspective of if you're doing this from how do you do this from a fibromyalgia warrior, which is what we are if you have fibromyalgia. How do you do this and lose weight when you're suffering with a chronic illness? What are the tools? You know, I think that when Tommy was talking about relapse, I think that it affects you whether you're dealing with a drug, an alcohol, whether you're dealing with food, whatever it is that is comforting to you. Well, Crafty Witch, whoops, I dropped something. This is for you. Here, I'm gonna I'm gonna hold out very floppy trophy, but I'm gonna hold out for you. Congratulations! Did you see that? Congratulations! That's what you get. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Crafty Witch says, "I now I've gone from 304 to 259. Let's get her to help us with tips. How did she get there? What did she do? How did she change? What are the little things she did to get her there?" Okay? And I want to be transparent and open. You know, if there's a day that I want a scoop of mint chocolate chip ice cream, guess what? The best thing that I could go do for myself if I really wanted one is maybe go to a ice cream shop, go pick up a small scoop of mint chocolate chip ice cream, go sit someplace in a park and enjoy the ice cream and enjoy the day for a couple hours and leave. The worst thing that I can do is eat it when I'm trying to reward myself for whatever it is, because we don't need to use food as a reward, or if I'm using it because I'm dealing with pain, emotional pain. Worst thing that I can do. What do we all need to do when we're dealing with that? We need to go to our connection points instead of putting food here that's only going to be momentarily fixed. When you've done a great accomplishment, how much better is it to say, "Listen, Mary's gonna raise Floppy." I can get it right, right? Gonna raise Floppy and say, "Here you go. This is your reward." Right? She said, "I cut out soda, ate more vegetables, making more food at home." My daughter has started, I decided to offer it to her, and I said, "How are you doing?" And she goes, "Mom," she goes, "I'm doing it." She goes, "But I've already got my groceries for the past." They shop like 2 weeks at a time, and so she she said to me, she goes, "I'm going to go finish out what we have." She said, "But whether or not I am within my points for the day," she said, "I'm cataloging everything that goes into my mouth. If I'm 20 points over, I don't care." She said, "It's going into the app. My water is going into the app. Everything is. I want to see what I'm doing, what I'm eating." And she said, "I'm starting to realize, oh, well, this may be why I'm struggling to lose weight." She's realizing what she's putting here, and it's starting to hit home. It's starting to make a difference. She, not anytime soon, but eventually would like to have children. Well, she's a diabetic. She can't be where she is weight wise. She knows that. And she's working to do that. But she said, "I'm going to take my little app to the store." And she said, "I'm going to start scanning stuff before I buy it and finding out how much am I going to do." And she said, "I'm going to start changing what I eat. And it's going to start changing how much I eat, what I eat." But she said, I'm over." She said, "You get weekly points, like weekly extra, like bonus cushion points." She said, "I'm like a negative 17 right now." I said, "Christina, don't worry about it. Just log everything in because you'll have an idea." And Mona says, "I'm saying I used to use it. Good on the lips, not on the hips. I lost 120 pounds, but I still trying to get 2.5 stones to go." Well, Mona, my sister, here you go. Here's Floppy for you. If anybody's birthday is today, the cupcake is still in the car. I didn't take it out yet from the other day. After 2 weeks without soda, I stopped craving the sugar and chips. You know what? Um, the only thing that we have in the house soda-wise is the little cans. I was gonna bring one in, I forgot. Not the 12-ounce cans of Coke, but just the little tiny ones. And the only reason I keep those in the house is if I wind up with a migraine headache, I tend to have one. And that helps. Or if somebody has an upset stomach, my mom tends to have like headaches every once in a while. So that's the only reason we keep them in the house. If I ever get a 20-ounce bottle of soda, it takes me like a week to go through it. Um, I've done a lot better. I have my 64 ounces worth of water, and I haven't done so good on my water today. But I'm noticing when I'm using that, then I'm keeping real good track of what water I'm using, and I'm usually getting my 64 ounces of water in a day. But we have to change how we're doing this. The reason I said, "So, you chose Weight Watchers, what's next?" If you're planning to start a journey of saying, "I need to do better eating wise," you have to start planning for it. You can't just say, "Phew, I'm gonna put stuff in my mouth and hope to goodness gracious it's gonna be reasonable," right? This I'm telling you, just a side note, this was so cool to see our logo on something. It was just like, man, I ordered one. I'm like, I have to have one. It was so cool. It was like, yes. It was awesome. I can't wait. I gotta get an I Got You Covered shirt. Mom's gotta do the Flowbee on my hair. Yes, Mary, the same, but now if I have a migraine, I go for coffee, but I like coffee and tea plain. Yeah, it's something about the Coke and it helps. So I keep the little tiny 8-ounce cans of Coke in the house, and they're there. And if we buy a 10, like a pack of them, like a 10 pack or whatever, it usually lasts about 3 or 4 months before we go through it. Um, Jason says, "I used to have a six-pack, and now I have a bit of a keg from doing too many 40 ounce curls with my Budweiser, hence why I'm on the boat. I'm way down with my drinking since I joined over a year ago." Well, we're Floppy's coming out in droves today, right? Here you go, Jason. Here's Floppy. There you go, buddy. Good job. Good job. All right, Shelly Kelly, thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. Um, uh, you know, I think for sure, we need the support of people, people that we have. So in our community, for sure. Um, I, I'm going to tell you this. You need to go on and what works for me is not going to work for everybody else. What you need to do is, what I would recommend is go on, if it's on your phone, it's going to be so much easier. But if you need to write it down, write it down. You need to find an app that's going to work for you, ever that may be. It may be Weight Watchers, and if it is, there is a referral code in the description. You join the party, right? If it's not, find an app that's going to work for you and start putting in everything you eat into your mouth in the app. And at the end of the day, you may say, "Oh my goodness, I didn't realize I was eating that much." Right? This is just so people can see it if they haven't. This is the Weight Watchers app. I didn't put in my yogurt that I had earlier today. I've got to put that in. This is the Weight Watchers app. So when I want to scan something, I can literally just scan it. And there's a lot of apps that have this ability to scan the UPC code and it comes up like that, which compared to what they used to do, my goodness. Um, it puts in the water. I don't know if you can see where it says the water. So I can keep track of the water. It shows I didn't do too many steps today because of my back, but it shows how many steps, and if I don't have my phone with me, my husband's gonna try to get my, one of those things for my wrist. But it shows how many steps I've had today. Um, if you'll see that it says 31 used and you see those points on this other side here. No, it's on this, is it this side? I get them confused. It's on this side, right? Those are your, like, bonus points. Hi, Lydia. And so I've got, like, 38 of those. In the morning this morning, I had the Yoplait little containers. They're 8 points. I'm sitting there going, I'm not buying this again. I'm not going to buy this because I don't wanna do 8 I don't wanna waste 8 points. And here was another test today. I had that at, like, 11:30 because I had trouble going to sleep last night. Had that at 11:30. I was starving at 12:30. Okay, well, this isn't worth this is a great little yogurt, and it's only I can tell you exactly how many points it is. Do, 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 or do I have it count how many it is, just so people let's see. It's 170 calories, right? It's 26 sugars. Guess what? My non-fat yogurt and the other thing is so much less. And what am I doing? I'm actually increasing the carbs are much higher on the non-fat Greek yogurt than they are on that other thing. I'm not buying this again. Why? I'm not going to waste that many points ever. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to do what I'm going to do with this other thing that I'm using. This other little trick that I'm doing. And Brazy Girl said, I get it. We eat because we're bored, right? You're bored, and so it's just, oh well, just I get it. After dinner snacking, couch snacking is my weakness. Absolutely. We get bored. And so it's easy for it to go right in the mouth. We also have to realize sometimes it's not boredom. Sometimes you're eating because you're hurting, both physically and mentally. And we have come to such of a custom, if you're somebody that has a problem with food, that our food is our friend when it is not our friend. I'm sorry to tell you, it is not your friend. And so we have now created all these connection points, right? And we should just be running to those connection points. Sometimes we don't listen to our brain. Our heart knows it. Our heart knows where we need to go. We listen to those feelings. Oh, that's really going to taste good. Oh, really looking forward to that. Oh, that cake in the refrigerator. It's calling your name, or the piece of pie, or the ice cream in the freezer. Right? And we go to that versus going to what we know can be a huge difference, which is connection, which is our 5. And but Crafty, the fact that you sat there and said it is huge. And that my computer's being slow tonight. The fact that you said, yes, today and tomorrow are hard days for me, and I want comfort food. I get it. I totally understand it. Um, I get it. It makes sense. You know, we're on we're having a lot of conversations back and forth with my aunt who is struggling with her diagnosis of cancer. And the other thing that's kind of happening in the background with um, somebody else in the family, right? And I'm having to really, really watch myself that I'm not going there. She's going to try, that she's not going there. great ice cream recipe where you can add whatever you want, freezer, banana, blend in the fruit, chocolate, or peanut butter. Absolutely. Another thing is it's all the rave, and I've tried it, is the cottage cheese ice cream. Another thing, I'm not crazy for straight cottage cheese, but you could take cottage cheese and, put a little like table or a tablespoon or 2 of the, gelatin, the orange flavor would be remember if you remember the one with the marshmallows and you added the marshmallows and the cottage cheese and it was green, remember that? The old-fashioned salads or whatever. But you could I'm gonna try that. You can take the cottage cheese, put a couple tablespoons, like 2 tablespoons of the gelatin, and if you can have the sugar-free, go for it. And, you do that, and then now you have a little treat, it's refreshing, probably add a little water to it, um, and then you have a little bit of a treat, it's sweet a little bit, refreshing, but now you've given it a lot of protein. The other day, we took crab cakes, right? And I took about a cup of cottage cheese and I blended it up in my food processor with a little bit of, because it was my mama's birthday and I made her crab cakes. And we put mayonnaise in it, right? Nobody could taste the cottage cheese. Everybody said, "What did you do differently?" It was delicious. I said, "I added the cottage cheese." My husband said, "You got to do it again. You would have never noticed a difference." Somebody said, "Replace," and I have to try it, so I'll let you know whether it's good or not. So he said, "Take the cottage cheese or the mayonnaise out of the egg salad, take the cottage cheese, blend it up in the food processor, make it smooth, and add that to your egg salad. Now you've done something, you've upped the protein level tremendously in your egg salad." Great idea. And they said you can't tell the difference between the mayonnaise to the crafty. You can also use Greek yogurt. Yes, the 27th was my, cancer diagnosis. I have a hard time dealing or had time telling my sister because her birthday was the 28th. Since she passed, always gets the replays. Well, I'm gonna give you a lot of ones, Crafty, and if you need to reach out to any one of us, please reach out, for sure, if my computer does not wanna work today, You could also use Greek yogurt, but I love the idea of using the cottage cheese. I would look at the difference between the protein from the Greek yogurt to the cottage cheese, but it's just another way of thinking about, um, you know, uh, thinking about that. But then when I did the, there's mocha. When I did the when I added the cottage cheese to the crab cakes, nobody could tell. Now I've upped the protein in the crab cakes, right? It's made the crab cakes, and I use imitation crab meat. I've upped the protein. So these are little changes that can be made to make a huge difference, right? We can all do this, but I think that we have to realize the importance of making sure that we have the support that we need. We need to make sure that we've got plenty of support and help. The gluten-free making gluten-free protein snacks, um, with, oats, bananas, raisins, and dark chocolate. You can add semi-sweet or sunflower seeds and sunflower butter. Absolutely. When I did my cup of yogurt and the 2 tablespoons of Jello pudding butterscotch, right? I also added, because I had the points for it, I also added 2 teaspoons of mini chocolate chips, and and I added a little bit of a tablespoon of cream of coffee creamer to it and a tablespoon of water. Now, I'll probably go get skim milk. Um, but it was absolutely delicious, and the chocolate chips just gave me a little bit of just they were just such a nice added thing to it. They were just enough. Don't need any more. Had it over 2 hours ago. Not even hungry at all. Yes, your intake or your snacks are best for cravings. Also, sometimes when you are hungry, guess what you need to be reaching for? Water. You need to be reaching, sorry about that. Dinner bell's ringing, right? You need to be reaching for water because sometimes you're thirsty. You're not necessarily hungry. But I really think that this is so important, and I can do a community post. I want to do something with the name disco balls, and I don't want to make it you have to be on Weight Watchers to be in the group because I don't want that. I think I will be putting my perspective on it from a Weight Watchers perspective because I think that it's an avenue for people that are looking for something because to me, having that app, having the and having the I don't know what's got enough tail on. Mocha. Having the app to be able to log everything is I'm becoming accountable. Now, another thing that I found, and I didn't know if they had them or not, but they still do. And there's ones in Ashland, and I'm actually going to go. And I even offered my daughter to go up where she lives if she wanted me to go and my mom to go for the very first time to a Weight Watchers meeting. And I'm going to go. What am I doing? I'm having connection. I may find some friends along the way in that group that are fighting the same battle I am. We're fighting it here. It's just another aspect of it. I don't care what we are doing, but we've got to become accountable to each other. If we don't realize that you are going to go down this journey and there's going to be one day that I'm going to come on here and say, guess what, y'all? I've gained 2 pounds and guess what? I ate a piece of cake or I had, I bought a gallon of ice cream and I've eaten 2 or 3 bowls of it and I've goofed. If you don't think that you're gonna fall and stumble, you are. You're going to do it. And that's when you have to pick yourself up and say, "Okay, today is today." One thing about that app that I love, and I think most of the apps that track everything, is at the end of the day, you know what it does? It goes back to 0 and it starts all over again. New day, new try. I'm not gonna go down this journey being perfect every day. There's gonna be days I'm gonna mess up. There's gonna be days I'm not gonna drink enough water. There's gonna be days I'm gonna do this. We're not perfect by any stretch of the means, but what we tend to do is beat ourselves up to no end when we fall. We go, let's just, how dare you do that? And then our mind starts playing with us and say, well, why bother trying? We messed this one up, right? So you messed it up. Who it doesn't matter whether you messed it up or not. You messed it up. You got to fall, but you got to pick yourself back up again. You can do this. We can all do it together. I don't think I'm doing this by myself. But there was great encouragement when I got on the scale the other day and I was like, I'm 278, I'm at point 0.8, I've lost 2 pounds. And I got on the scale today and I'm 278.4. And I'm like, oh, you know, there was a great encouragement for it. And I don't care whether you lost a half a pound. We need to raise Floppy for you and say, good job. You did it. And Crafty Witch says, I do that all the time. We beat ourselves up. Crazy girl. I can do the same thing. Believe me. I can do the same thing. Blame it on those female hormones and menopause. I can do exactly the same thing. My husband, he's dealing with a migraine. So he had Gatorade, right? He scanned the UPC code today. He put it into his app and he said, "This is 10 points." See, whether you're doing keto, whether you're doing Weight Watchers, whether you're doing a calorie deficit, if if your body, and there's a way to figure it out, don't ask me how to do it. But if your body says, I can survive on, there's a certain amount of, you do it with your weight, you figure out what your calories, your baseline calorie count is a day. But if your baseline is 1,500 a day that your body needs to survive, right? And you're eating 2,000 calories a day, there is no way you're going to lose weight. None. You tell me one place that you can go that you hand somebody a dollar, to a store, and they said, "Well, this costs you $1.25, you know, but we're going to give you another $1.25 on top of it, and you only have a dollar. Can you buy the item?" No, you can't. They're not going to give you, they're not going to say take it. If your bank, if you better example is if you're at the bank, right? And you withdraw from the bank, and you overdraw, you write a check and you overdrew your account, you're going to get a fee. There's nothing. If you wrote a check for $20 and you only have 10, then there's money missing. There's no way you can, doesn't balance out. So if your body is supposed to take in 1,500 calories a day, and you're eating 2,000 calories a day, you're not going to lose weight. You're going to gain it. And the thing that people don't realize is it sneaks up on you. It's not just like, "Oh, I eaten this and I've gained 20 pounds in one day." If you have, there's something wrong. You eat this and you gain a little bit here and a little bit here and then a little bit here and then a little bit here and before you know it, you've gained 30 pounds going, "Where in the heck did that all happen at?" And then you feel lousy about yourself, so you go back in the refrigerator and you eat more stuff because, "Oh, well, this feels good. This is old habits. This is what makes it feel good." Right? It doesn't work. It's a vicious cycle we have to help each other get out of because it doesn't work. Now, I don't have any points left for today. Guess what? There's cantaloupe in the refrigerator, so that's what I'm going to have if I'm hungry. I can have a peach if I'm hungry. I made green beans with tomatoes, so I'm going to go have that in a little bit. Those are free. I'm going to go for all the 0 point things that I can have for the rest of the day because my bank is closed. I'm done for today. If you are having, if your body is supposed to take in 1,500 calories a day, right? And that's what it needs to maintain where you are weight wise. If you're doing maybe 1,300 calories a day, your body is going to a deficit. It has to go all those places that it's storing all that lovely, wonderful fat, right? And it has to go to the fat and say, I need a withdrawal because she's not eating enough or he's not eating enough calories, right? And it takes it. And you're going to slowly lose the weight. It's not gonna come off like that. I wish it did. It'd be awful nice if it did, but it's not. But it's making little changes. Now, I have made a huge change. I will say that. I have made, to some degree, a huge change. Because winter here are cold nights, instead of having hot chocolate, I have a stock cube in the hot water, and it's delicious. Stock cube in hot water is delicious. You could put a little lemon in it. That would be good, right? Um, you have to make now. Like I said, I've made a big change. Doing this whole Weight Watchers thing is a big change. But I can say this one thing, and I will. It has not been overwhelming in my change. It has not been so overwhelming that I wanna throw up my hands and say, "I'm done with this. This is too much work." It has been actually almost seamless, where I've literally gone, "Okay, the only change that I'm really making is baby steps, absolutely, is making sure that everything that goes into this mouth is put into that app, whether at the end of the day I have done 10 more points than I'm supposed to. It's going in there. One way or another, it's going to go in the app." And having the ability to just scan a barcode and it be brought up and tell me how many points is wonderful. My daughter said to me, she goes, "Mom, of course she has to finish what she has in the house because she did her shopping." She said, "I'm taking she takes her phone to the store everywhere, of course." She said, "When I go to the store, I'm gonna be pulling out that app and I'm gonna be scanning everything not everything, but I'm gonna be scanning things that I want to buy." And she said, "I'm gonna see whether or not I'm gonna most likely be making better choices." There's great recipes in there to be able to put in. She said, "I'm starting to go through the recipes and you can do a grocery list through this app." And she said, "I'm starting to be able to figure out I want to make this recipe and add the stuff to my grocery list." What is that doing? That is planning for success. If I had mint chocolate chip ice cream in the refrigerator right now, that would not be planning for success. It would taste good, but it's not going to be planning for success. You have to plan to be successful and know that in the mix of planning for it, you're going to stumble. Is she said by putting everything in Instacart so I don't impulsively buy. Absolutely. I'm gonna be doing those the chib and I get the Chobani's key lime and the black cherry. They're 7 points for this little container of stuff. I'm like, nope, I'm not getting that again. I'm gonna get the non-fat Greek yogurt. I'm gonna get a lot of cottage cheese, and I'm gonna use that. One morning I woke up that we went out for our anniversary. I did an egg, hard boiled egg, and I did a peach. It was 0 points. I didn't have to worry about anything till we had our lovely lunch. It was 0 points, and I still winded up at the end of the day really staying within my point balance for the day. So there are so many different apps that you can do that can start saying, "You know what? We've got to put things down on some kind of some way. You've got to record it. This is not, and I want to be very clear about this. This is not to make you feel like, what a pig I am. Look what I ate today." Don't even go there. Don't do that to yourself. No, 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 no. Because what that is doing is it is knocking you down. Instead of saying, "These are the choices that I made today. Were these choices wise choices?" We can't control anybody else but ourselves. But we can't control. All right, well, Mona, thank you for stopping in. Love you. Sleep well. Um, we can't control anybody else's choices, can we? We can only control ourselves. We at times can't control the situation, but we can control how we act. So if we're going to choose to buy something that we know or eat stuff that we know is not good for us, or we're going to, we I didn't realize I was having 3 sodas today, or I didn't realize I had sat down and eaten a whole bag of chips, right? We can't start making wiser decisions. Just like you're sitting there journaling and I remember somebody in the boat said, they were scared to journal again because it brought out all this stuff, right? It was peeling back the onion. We've got to. We've got to put it down. I don't know what I did with my back. We gotta put it down on the paper. We've gotta write it. We gotta put it in some kinda app. For a while there, I was doing Carb Manager, which was okay. Even if you have to pay for an app that will count your calories and has the ability to scan stuff in, do it, because it's huge when you can just go to take your phone and go over like this morning, I just went over the yogurt, it pulled it right up, and I put it right in my thing, and I was done. You've gotta find something that's simple and easy enough that you're going to do it and stick with it. If you're not if this app was confusing, the only thing that I'm having trouble finding on it is, like, my favorites, like the regular things that I eat all the time. But if it was hard and complicated and confusing and frustrating, there's no way I would have stayed with it. But it is relatively easy, and there is community support within there. And like I said, I'm gonna probably check out one of the local groups just to make some connections and some friends and so forth, and expand and my circle and so forth. But honest to goodness gracious, you've got to find something. Would I recommend some kind of app over personally writing it down on a piece of paper? If you can, do it. If you have to find an app that maybe costs you $10 or 15 or 20 or even $6 a month, but you're using it, it is becomes valuable and priceless when you're able to go through the app and say, I did not realize I was doing that. It's just like Spanx was talking about today on the boat. He sat there and he said, when you're going to relapse, if you go back in your journals, you will see it happening over a period of time. It just doesn't happen like this. And that's exactly what's happened kind of over the past 2 years. I was sitting at 248 when my daughter got married in August of 2022. 2 years later, I'm sitting at 280, well, now 278.4. No, we're not going back to 300 again. Ain't happening. In the past 2 years, honest to goodness gracious, where did almost 28 pounds get put back on? How did it happen? I have no idea. If I had journaled, I probably would have figured it out. So if we can do a journal for our feelings and our emotions, why can't we do a food journal? And I would highly recommend finding one on the YouTubes on the phone over trying to do it on paper, only because of if you can find one that has the ability to scan stuff in with taking pictures of the UPC code, it will make your life a lot easier. If you want to go through the Weight Watchers little portal, there's a referral code in the link for it gives, I think, you a free month and me a free month, whatever. But please feel free to use it if you want to do that. I want to come up with a name for the group because I think that everybody that's here, all 6 people, and I'm grateful for every 6, and at one point we had 9, and we'll do that. We'll continue to grow. I wanna make sure that everybody from the boat that needs to have some kind of support for this journey of getting to a healthy state, both mentally and physically, can do it and never feel as if they are sitting there at the end going, okay, nobody understands this. This is not a drug and alcohol addiction. This is a food addiction. It's very different because food is all around you. You're faced with it all day long. You go to the store. How many times do I go to the grocery store and the ice cream aisle calls my name? Right here. Do I go down the ice cream aisle very often? Absolutely not. Because it's really hard for me to not put the mint chocolate chip ice cream in my cart. If I go buy the Swiss cake rolls, they may wind up in my cart. I have to really fight the temptation to not put them in my cart. Now, there are times I will have Swiss cake rolls, and when they're done, they're done. Maybe every 6 months, but I better not find them in my house very often, or I would be eating one every day. And then when the emotional stuff comes up all the time, right? When the emotional stuff, awesome, awesome, Bracy. When the emotional stuff hits, what are you going to? You're getting a high off of that. If you all people don't believe that you're getting a high off that stuff, you are. I've had headaches for the past 2 days, and I'm thinking, you're from a little bit of a sugar withdrawal. Could be, I don't know. No idea what it's from. I have no idea, but it could be. But if you don't think you're getting a high off of it and a fix off of it, you are. And if your body's sitting there going, yeah, see, it's your friend, it's not. It's not going to be your friend. Dealing with the stuff is really hard. I would like nothing more than to take a wand right now and make my aunt's cancer diagnosis and her issue go away. I would like nothing more than to take a wand and wave it and she's cancer free. I'd like nothing more than to not hear that she's sitting there when they're talking about hospice care. I'd like nothing more than them telling her she has a year or less to live. I'd like nothing more than the other family member that's being a real ugly person right now to a lot of people in our family. I'd like to wave them and they come back in the fold. But it's out of my control. Every time I get on the phone and I hear my aunt's voice, I heard her coughing today and I'm like, oh my gosh. And she'd love to be able to come and see us, and maybe that'll happen and maybe it won't. Every time I get on the phone, I think, guess what? She's here. But my body wants to sit there and tell me, go eat. Because then you don't have to deal with her, with what's going on with her. And knowing that next year, at this time, she probably won't be here. It's so much easier to say, that gallon of ice cream, man, that'll just fix everything. It's not going to fix a damn thing. It's not going to make any of that stuff go away. But is it easier to eat that versus dealing with this? Absolutely. Hands down. Do I want to be on here crying? No, not one bit. But if it keeps me away from the grocery store eating the ice cream that's only going to do more harm to my body than good, then it's worth it. For everybody here that sits there and says, I need to hear this, then it's worth it. See, I get it. Who wants to deal with this? This hurts. This physically hurts. Physically and emotionally. Who wants to deal with this? Nobody wants to deal with it. Of course not. She hung up the phone today and she said, I love you all so much. And I thought, we love you too. I had to ask her, I said, can you do me a favor? And I said, if you can look out the dress that you wore for Christina's wedding and put it aside so that we can make bears out of it. And I don't believe I'm asking for this, but I know I need to. She's only in her 60s. she's not gonna be here in her 70s. We actually did it for my dad. We took his favorite we had Christina pick out his favorite shirt and made a bear out of it, had somebody make a bear out of it. We actually took some of his hair and put it in the bear with the stuffing so that his hair was in there, and we did it for my grandmother too. We asked Christina what her favorite outfit was, and we made a bear out of that. We did it for my uncle too. It's a great idea. I'm not making bears. But is that whole thing fun to do? No, it's not. But it's reality. And I'm using ice cream as an example because it's easy. Is it easier to go to that gallon of ice cream than dealing with that junk? Oh yeah, tastes better. Who wants to deal with that? Nobody wants to deal with it. I don't have a huge family sitting in front of me on my one side. I don't have the huge family. I have a very, very small family on that side. So everybody that I lose is huge. We found out that my GM grandmother had cancer. She was gone within 3 weeks. I had no time to cope because I was the caregiver. I get it, caregiver. I get it. After we lost too many with such a close time frame, we didn't have any time to cope just because we wanted to numb. I think if I went and bought ice cream or I went and bought Swiss cake rolls or I went and bought whatever in the house, whatever in the heck you want to put in it, chips, whatever your go to thing is, right? What would I be doing? I would be numbing what the emotions are that I'm dealing with. Be numbing it. It is a drug for us. See, for me, way back, I did not I knew that I'd watched my uncle be an alcoholic. My aunts were alcoholics. My dad wasn't. My mother wasn't. They had also dealt with drugs and as well. So I thought, I don't wanna go down that road. I knew I had a very my grandfather was an alcoholic, I don't wanna go down that route. So if I can't do that, and I can't leave this world, which I wanted to in my teens, because of all the bullying and, all of the difficulty that I went through with that, right? Um, I couldn't do that to my mom because my grandfather had done it that way. I'm my mom's only kid, I can't leave this world. Can't. Wanted to, but I can't. Where can I go to? Can't use drugs and alcohol. Scared to death to go down that route. So what can I go to? Food. I'm no joke when I'm gonna say this. We have Publix, and Publix has one of the best cakes you've ever had in your life. One of them, right? I used to go get a cake, an 8-inch cake, bring it home. I'd hide it in a bag, bring it in under, when nobody could see it. Go in my room and sit there and eat it. And it wasn't so much the cake as it was the icing that was on top of it, because it was numbing whatever pain I was going through. Or I go to Dunkin' Donuts and get 12, 12 donuts, right, when I could drive, and I sit there and I'd eat the donuts because it numbed everything for a while. It stopped the pain. We have to do a better thing of coping with whatever it is. I don't care what you use. You've got to find something to use in order to cope with whatever it is. If you go on and I thought, well, when I got the special I did from Weight Watchers, I thought, well, I'm stuck with it for 9 months. Spent, you know, sillier money on this and other things, right? I don't care what you find. You may try Weight Watchers and it goes, "This isn't for me." You may get on and go, "Boy, thank goodness for this." Big warm hugs to Mary and Jason and Crafty. By 47, I lost my entire extended family. It's just me and my brother and poor health left. I'm grateful for the ripples and the connection. Absolutely. The best coping is crafting each time. It brings um so much happiness. Hello, Liz. Absolutely. It does. Getting out the crochet hooks makes a huge difference. I don't care what you use, but I think Tommy's on a great thing when he talks about it on the lifeboat. It's awesome, and he kind of gave me a kick in the pants on Monday, right? But I think if we don't have the tools in order to be able to get us to there, and we can journal all we want, and that's wonderful. But I really do believe you need a food journal. I think you need something separate beside the journal. And Bracy, we're all here. We're all family. Brazy, we're family. We've got it. We've all been through it. I love my chosen family better than my real one people speak of. Absolutely. So, I think that we need to journal, but I think we need to have a food journal too. And accountability. You need to write down what you're eating. You need to see this is what I'm eating. And it's not so much about what counting every little calorie, but I think it's important to start measuring your food out. I don't have to measure a cup of yogurt of non-fat because it's 0 points under Weight Watchers, but I do it anyway just to get into the habit of measuring out things. You need to measure your food out, right? You need to write it down on a piece of paper, on somehow, however you choose to do it. You need to pay attention and have an idea of what is going in your mouth. How many calories am I consuming today? And maybe you're consuming 20,000 calories in a day or not 20, 2,000 calories in a day, right? Maybe tomorrow you're going to go down to 1950. That's harm reduction. Maybe you're having 2 sodas within the day and you're going to take away 1 soda and you're going to go ahead and you're going to have instead of having 1 soda, you're going to have or instead of having 2 sodas, you're going to have 1 soda. You can start making those adjustments. And Jason, just so you know, Crafty's a code for if you ever want to put her thing in is explanation point which. And if you put that in, it'll put her thing in as well. Um, so just so you know, um, I know Lydia was in here early, and I forgot to put that in. But yeah, if you put that in, it'll do automatically, so you don't have to look it up. Um, I and so we need to be accountable. Well, Crafty, you shouldn't need 50 to live stream if you can do it from your computer. If you do it through your computer, you shouldn't need 50. If you do it on your phone, yes, you need 50, and sometimes it takes a while for YouTube to decide to catch up with you. But if you do it on your computer, you shouldn't need 50 to live stream. If you do it on your phone, you should. We need to be accountable, okay? We need to be able to write down exactly what we're eating within a day. Get an idea of what you're consuming. because what it's going to do is it's gonna open them eyes a little bit and say, "Oh my goodness gracious, I didn't realize I was doing that." All right? Like today, I had this little thing of Yoplait yogurt, right? This little serving. It's 8 points. I can do a whole cup of non-fat Greek yogurt with 2 tablespoons of mini chocolate chips and 2 of the tablespoons of the gelatin, right? The yogurt 0, the gelatin 6 points, the 2 tablespoons of the chocolate chips are 8, I think 2 or something like that, 8 points. But almost 3 hours later, I'm fuller than and not even hungry than I was after I had the little tiny yogurt this morning. I was hungry within an hour. What's a better choice? Better choice is to have the yogurt. Maybe if you're reaching for something that it has a lot of carbs, what about reaching for a hard-boiled egg instead? Instead of reaching for that soda, right? Reach for water. Reach for put sparkling, get some seltzer water. Put lemon in it. There are these things I want to try. They're called air ups, and they make your brain think you're drinking flavored water when you're not. They don't have any artificial sweetener in it. Choose things that are better. Look over your week and say, I can change that. Let me change this. Here's the next thing to start doing. Choose to put things in your house that are things that you're not going to go craving for. I do not keep absolutely harm reduction. Do not keep Swiss cake rolls in the house if you have a hard time stopping yourself from one. And if you have one every day, they're not the greatest thing to have in the house. Do not keep mint chocolate chip ice cream in the house if it is calling your name every 5 seconds. Do not keep cookies in the house if it is something that you're going to struggle with. Whatever it is, frozen fruit in the water is great. Absolutely. I'm going to be putting out a video, and it's called JJ's Cookies. And I think we figured it out on Weight Watchers. I'm going to mess it up now. I think it's 1 point for every cookie. But they're peanut butter cookies. My husband loves them, and so does my son-in-law. So my husband's name is Josh. My son-in-law's name is Jared, so we decided to name them JJ's Cookies. Now you could take the sugar, it calls for a cup of sugar. You could take that, put stevia in instead, and fool around with that. We can't do the stevia, but it's a cup of peanut butter, it's a cup of the sugar, and it's and 1 egg, and it makes delicious cookies. Put them in the freezer. You're also having something that's protein. Now, what I'll do for my husband is we use uh, um, peanut butter protein powder. So in his cookies, I put 2 tablespoons of protein. I up the protein in his cookies. He starts his morning with he starts his morning with a protein shake. Hi, Alfonso. Yes, and Alfonso will be on at 9:30, and I will be on there with him. And the answer to your question, I'm sorry, guys. My back is really. I think I spelled music wrong. Did I spell music wrong? I think I spelled music wrong. I know I did. I can't think. Oh, I'm having a brain this time. I'm gonna have to go get some coffee. Thank you. I'm like I know I know I spelled music wrong. Um, the question to your answer is yes. I'm at 600 and what was it? No, it was I was like so frustrated this morning too, Jason, because I was like, wait a minute. Um, 230.94. Um, so I'm at almost 2,400 in watch hours. So I have 600 left, and we can. We can start opening stuff. Be great. Um, so anyway, but we got to come up with a name. Yeah. Yeah, you need in order for us to open super chats and memberships, Brazy, we need 600 or not 600, 3,000 watch hours. So we're at almost 2,400 in watch hours. We have 600 left to go. We have, and you need 500 subscribers, which we have. We got to 800 the other day. And then if you to get fully monetized, we'll be at 1,000 or 4,000 watch hours with 1,000 subscribers. And we're about 177 in subscribers. So I think one happens, the other one's going to be really close behind. Um, and so I'm excited. I'm excited. Worked really hard. All of us have. We've all helped. My mom and my husband and myself. I'm gonna be putting out another nature stream tomorrow. I think I was going to put out I found this really I was gonna put out, the lighthouse. This lighthouse I found. I need the trophy. Um, there's a lighthouse I found the lighthouse I found with the lighthouse and the beach waves and everything coming. And I'm gonna put that up with some ocean music with some birds in the background. And then on Wednesday, I found this really, like, really calming music, and I'm gonna find some really pretty nature, video in the back, and I'm gonna use that for Wednesday, just some relaxing thing throughout the night. And then on next Sunday, I'm gonna put up a rainstorm and thunderstorm. So there will be more nature stuff coming up. Also this week, um I got something, y'all, but we need a name. I don't know how. I want to use disco balls in some way for the group, but I will put it up. I want it separate from the lighthouse beacons because I think that this needs to be a very specific group. I think somebody said you can get seven. You can have 7 times that you can rewatch content, and it for to be counted through YouTube. I think. I think. I think. But I think you do up to like 7 times. I want it to be separate from the, um, the lighthouse beacons, just for a group that really is doing, first of all, to be accountable to each other, which is important. I really do, and I want to talk about being accountable when it comes to, you know, food. I want to use it to be able to put some healthy recipes up for everybody. Um, I want to be able to put everybody's accomplishment, people that have had accomplishments, whether they've only had 1 soda versus 2, whether they've done lost a pound, whatever they have done in order to have a successful day, ever it is, you do not have to be on Weight Watchers. I'm going to be gearing it a little bit towards that in the sense that I may put something up and say, "Well, this is 2 points, and this is 1 point," just because there may be people within the group that are following Weight Watchers, and it may be really easy for them to be able to convert it. We can put healthy recipes up. We can just be there to encourage each other. And I really want to make that happen. We can also do some live specifically from that group on Facebook so that we can talk about in the group, we can talk about things that we're struggling with in a private setting. So I really think that when you're dealing with a food addiction, it can I think any addiction, but I think sometimes when it comes to food, at least I feel like it, there is this it's different than alcohol and drug addiction because well, you should just be able to control it. And you should just you don't need this to be able to do and you should just not be able to just you just don't need it. And there's a different air that comes around with people that struggle with this Well, if you're not hungry, then you just don't eat it. Why do and it becomes a different, can't think of the word I'm trying to think of, a perception of this that comes across that I think, to me anyway, it's just like, well, you should just be able to not eat it. You're not hungry, then you shouldn't be wanting it. And not that you don't crave when you're dealing with drugs and alcohol, you do, but it's not something you need to live with. You know, if I don't drink alcohol that often. Very rarely do I ever have a glass of wine. I had the one yesterday. I hadn't one for 4 or 5 months. You don't need it to live, but you need food to live. You have to go to the grocery store, right? And you have to go into the grocery store, and you have to shop for food. And how many times do you go through and you go to Walmart, right? You go down the aisle, the first thing you're being hit with is a table full of things that go, "Oh, that looks really good." What is it? Cakes, cupcakes, cookies, right? We will be rich. Yes. You you don't you have to go and eat, and you have to prepare your stuff, and you go by and there's all these things around you. And there is something to be said too about the fact that when you're dealing with chronic illness, you are tired, right? You're fighting throughout the day just to be able to do basic stuff sometimes. At the end of the day, I don't have energy to fight this craving anymore. I'm done. I'm just going to eat it because I'm tired. Or I'm tired and I don't feel like making anything. So what do? We go out and get something that's not the healthiest for us. I've done it. I've been there. I've had it. When we go to Sam's Club, I usually go with my mom and my husband, and I usually go right in one of those cars. I'm exhausted by the time we bring everything home. I will, for the most part, get a whole chicken because I will have chicken. I will have my mashed potatoes. I will have my vegetable. I ain't cooking dinner. I'm too tired, but I'm preparing myself for success by not saying, "Oh, well, you know what? Let's just stop off at Burger King and get a meal." And somebody brought up pancakes. You can make cottage cheese pancakes, which up the protein. So that's something to think about. So we can put recipes in there. I'm just trying to think of a name, or we can use the disco ball, because I think if we realize, people, that we are nothing. I think this saying applies so much to what it really means in the sense of this whole thing when you're dealing with addiction is is this, and I want to use it somehow to name the group, right? Disco balls, hundreds of pieces of broken glass, but put together to make a magical ball of light. You ain't broken, you're a disco ball. Jason P's favorite saying, right? I think that this is so important. We look at ourselves so broken. We look at ourselves as we're not able to be fixed. Can't fix it, so we might as well eat through it, right? Hi, carry on, right? We 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 we're not broken. We're broken, so why don't I might as well just eat. Feels good, doesn't it? Right? For a for a piece of time, it feels good, right? Disco Warriors. Oh, I love that, Crafty. Oh, do I love that. That be it. That may be it. Crafty warrior, disco warriors. I love that. And this would be our quote for that group, right? But when you put all the pieces together, we can be lights to each other. We can be lights. We are not broken. We are not, we are magical. We are shining lights, and we can be beacons of light to each other. When you're struggling with something, when you're having a really hard day, we've got to remember what we need to do. We've got to go to our connection points that we have made. That's what the lighthouse beacons are for. That's what the lifeboat group is for. That's what the disco group is for. When we're struggling, we have got to go there. We cannot go to food or drugs or alcohol. It doesn't work. We think it does. We get lied to. It does not work. It doesn't. And then before you know it, what are we at? I've gone from 250 to 280. And when I got on that scale and I saw the 280, oh no, ma'am. No, ma'am. You're not doing that. We're not getting to 300. What do we need to do? I can't do what I can't do what I would like to do, which is go back on Optavia because of the price. What can I do? I've done the Weight Watchers before. Well, let's give it a whirl again. And I knew what I had gone through as a teenager, having the book and opening the book and then looking through the book and having to find the thing and putting it on the paper and ugh, this what this almost was seamless. It really was. I will have to say that. This was just easy. I literally started it the first day I got on, started putting my stuff in. And I'm proud of my daughter. She's putting her stuff in. She's over, but she's getting an eye open to what she is eating. She in itself it's becoming the food journal for herself. I think that we have to separate it. It has to be you got to look at your food journal and then you got to look at your journal. And if you don't want to go through the Weight Watchers, that's fine. Find an app that especially has the ability for you to scan that UPC code and place it in. If you don't find an app that's going to work for you that's quick and easy, you're not going to stick with it. And if there's anybody out there that is listening to this that's a nutritionist or that is knowledgeable in this field, please reach out to me. I will be glad to have you on because I think it will be very helpful for others to hear about how to do this whole thing. I don't think we begin to know how to do it because there are so many fad diets and you do this and you do this. Well, if you do this, what do you know to do? Really, honestly. I thought, well, I'll give it a whirl. I was shocked when I've already lost 2.4 pounds. Like, I'll take it. Trophy for Mary, right? Floppy trophy. I'm going to give myself the trophy. See, you know, hey, I'm going back down that way. Disco Warriors. I love that. I love that. That's it. That's it. Thank you. I could not think of a name. Sandy Wendy came up with the cupcakes. Crafty came up with the other. I love it. I love it. So we're gonna have this discussion. I don't want to make my channel all about this journey, but I do want to include it in, and I will make a playlist on it. And I hope I, to some degree, tried to put it together a little bit today. But I really want to take you along on this journey. I want to come on, and if I've stumbled and fallen, I'm going to get on here and tell you all I screwed up today. I did well today. I didn't do well today. I'm going to come on and tell you when I've fallen. I want to be able to say, well, this week I didn't lose any weight or I gained a pound back. because I want to be open to people seeing the journey of whatever it is that I'm doing. I really do think you need accountability. Absolutely, Brazy. I think that you need to have something in place somehow. You can't just throw caution to the wind. I tried. I thought, well, I'll try to kind of replicate Octavia in some way. It failed miserably. You know why? Because I wasn't, well, I'll do this tomorrow. Well, I'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. And I wasn't realizing what I was doing, and I needed to have something that I could literally put down in some way to be able to say, "Okay, you're at your points. So the rest of the evening, guess what, Mary? If you're hungry, you have to go for zero stuff. Your bank is closed." Do we allow ourselves to say our bank is closed? We need to. If the bank is closed, if you want anything, it's got to be 0 points for the rest of the evening. Fine. Yep, you got to be ready. But I think that for some people, too, when you're trying to do this, if you don't, some people need to do this in baby steps. Maybe it's just doing and saying, all I can do today is for the next month, I'm going to work on getting my water down. Every day, I'm going to work on it. Right. And the next week, I'm going to do that. Right. Um, then maybe it's reducing and saying, instead of having 2 sodas, I'm having 1 soda. Maybe it's saying, "You know what? I usually have a cookie every day." Maybe it's taking out the cookie you have every day. 0 points would be, yep, and then the day came. Yep, you gotta be ready. I get that now. Talking to myself into sobriety for months, the day came. Exactly. It's like I got on the scale the other day going, we're ain't going back there again. Janet, 0 points is like I can have a whole peach. That's 0 points. I can have, cantaloupe. That's 0 points. I can go and I made, green beans and tomatoes. Those are 0 points. Um, there's a lot of 0 point stuff in there. Um, like today for lunch, I had, the, progressive lentil soup and so forth for lunch. That's 1 point for a cup of that soup. Um, I'm trying to think. There's other stuff I have to look up that is 1 point, or 0 points. Trying to get that. I'm not gonna do well in my water kick today. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. I didn't I didn't get my cup out thing that I have with 64 ounces. Let's see what to eat. 0 point foods here. Eggs, hard boiled eggs are considered 0 points. Asparagus, um, lettuce, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, um, cabbage. There's apples, um, non-fat Greek yogurt, cherries, clementines, honeydew, oranges, pineapple. All those are considered 0 points. You could have, if you want protein, you could have turkey, chicken. No, I don't starve myself at all. Chicken, turkey breast, all of those are 0 calories. Popcorn, is, of course, you don't have anything on it, but popcorn is 0 calories. Beans are all pretty much 0 calories. Shrimp, um, you know, um, shrimp, scallops, all those. Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, fat free. So all of these, and it shows you in the thing, are all like 0 points, and it tells you what is underneath there that's 0 points. So I've I've shot my wad for today. So guess what? I can only eat I can only eat Oh, thank you. We're all so proud of Brazy, I really do. Recently given up, refined sugar. Um, Only sugar I allow now is fruit. I hope it's making a difference. Um, I have to be careful when it comes to any kind of artificial sweetener, uh, um, because of the migraines. If I do anything with artificial sweetener, it's gonna put me in a migraine headache from heck and high water, and I ain't gonna do it. So I use real sugar. I use, sugar in the raw in my coffee. I know it's still sugar, but I use sugar in the raw in my coffee in the morning. Um, if I have to use sugar, it's real sugar. I can't do anything with artificial sweetener. Um, I'm going to be also doing some paint pouring, y'all, which I know some people have asked about. And I forgot to grab those earrings. I'll grab them out. I had got these were on sale at Hobby Lobby, right? So these are earrings. Aren't those pretty? They're not pretty yet, right? Um, these are wooden earrings. They're very lightweight, and I'm going to paint them white. Okay, and then I've gotten the supplies I need to paint pour again, and I will take you all outside, and I'll show you how to paint pour. It is so relaxing. I have done earrings, and of course they're over there, and I forgot to bring them. They're very lightweight, but I will show you all how to paint pour. And then I've gotten the Crafty will be interested in this one, right? I've gotten these because I'm getting wooden circles in that I'm going to paint pour on and attach these to them. Okay. And that way, what I'm going to do is take my Cricut machine and start putting the hook sizes on them. And then that way, if you're like me and have multiple projects going at once, right? And you go back to the going, what was the hook size I used on that one? These will be available to order if you're so inclined and you would like to. Um, and then that way you can keep track of by putting them on your work, you can keep track on what you're actually going what's when you go back to it, you'll go, oh, it was a 4.5 millimeter hook. And you won't sit there going, what hook size was it that I used on this project? As we get older, our minds just don't work as well. Um, when you paint pour, you get what is called skins, okay? Um, you get excess paint that dribbles from what you're working on, and if you use a silicone mat, it becomes like a skin layer. And I ordered these. I've used these before, right? And I decided to go with these first because I want everybody to realize that they can and should chase their dreams. Now, I will have to take individual pictures of this. I will not be taking, hi Sandy, I will not be taking individual pictures of the little stitch markers with the numbers on them because they're all going to look different. And if I have 20 of them with a 4.5 hook on them, I'm I'm going to get so eh, it's going to be mind blowing how many pictures I'm going to need to take of each one. So if you wanted to order, the stitch markers, just you order them and you'll kind of get whatever I want to send. So with these, I will take individual pictures because everyone will literally be different. I want everybody to chase their dreams. So when you do paint pour, you get a skin, and then you take part of that paint and you place it inside of, you see this hole in here, right? You see this hole in here. You put the paint inside this little hole. Actually, you put it on these little clear, I forgot what they're called. I got them. You put the paint, you glue the paint onto these little clear little um, glass things. And then these, right, once the paint's on them, go on and in these, right? This magnifies the paint. It's beautiful, the paint pour when it comes on the jewelry. And so I decided to go with this one first with the dream catchers because I want everybody to go chase their dreams. And those that want to order them, they'll be eventually in the fourth wall store. We're also doing a craft show in November, so we're gonna have ones for, of course, in the to take to the craft show. Um, and so I wanted to do them, but I thought I'll take you along for the ride. Those that have never seen paint pour, it's really awesome to see. And I have the rose gold and the silver and the gold and also black or like gunmetal. But there's uh, other designs or other jewelry that I can do, um, that I can get and put more skins in, and then of course it comes with the necklaces. So I did them mainly because I wanted to take them to the show that we're doing in November, but I also will put some up on the fourth wall store, and I'll get more things. They've got keychains. They've got. I mean, there's so many things, and I can tell you, I have some. Of course, I didn't bring any of that over here, did I? I have some, and I can tell you, I love the way that um uh the um the the paint pour looks through the glass. It just is unbelievable. It really can when you put because then you get a whole different image. But then when you pour in the paint and it dribbles down on the earrings, I have one over there. And when I did those earrings, I didn't paint these white, and I didn't like them. So I got to paint those white first. Oh, I could never give up caffeine. That ain't it ain't happening. Yeah, I need my coffee in the morning. It's not happening. So, but I think I'm probably gonna have to go get a cup of coffee because Alfonso's gonna be on at 9:30, and I'm fading fast. But I'll take you along on the paint pour, and then I also have diamond painting that I figured I would figure out a way to do that as well. The one thing is that I have a blanket that has got to get done. And so I've said to myself, you cannot get out your diamond painting yet till you finish that blanket. So that's my thing is until that blanket's done, my diamond painting does not come out. But I will um come up I will come up with I will come up with the I can't think what it is. I will once it's done, I'll figure out a way to stream and we could just chit chat and I could do diamond painting and so forth because I do enjoy it. I just haven't pulled it out for a while. Been so busy with the crochet. So anyway, so and I think Kristen's going to be on tonight. She's going to be on at yeah. I love diamond painting. I've just said if I start pulling out my diamond painting, that blanket that has to get done, I want to get it done this month. It's too huge for me to bring out. I get and I've started making some booties too because I want to take those to the craft show in November. But I have just said you take out that diamond painting that blanket's never going to get done, and it has to get done. The lady's waiting for it for Christmas, so I don't want to do it, and I'm gonna have to have my husband look at this light. I haven't gone dark; it's just the light, and I had problems with it earlier. It wants to not cooperate. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here because I'm gonna go make myself some coffee, fix my light, and my new cup. And this, I'm not trying to. I thought this was so cool. I was like, this was so cool to see our logo on a mug. I was like, my husband went into the merch store and he ordered this, and I got it in the mail. And he said, I wanted you to have a travel mug with your logo on it. So he ordered it for me from the merch store. And it was so cool to see the logo on there. I thought it was really cool. And I did a short on it. I thought it was really funny. I did a funny short on it today. That was really cool. So, but we will do it. I will set up the let's see if I put it in here. Is it beacons? I think it's beacons. If you're not in with the Lighthouse Beacons, go ahead and join us over there. I will put a link to the Disco Warriors over on in the Lighthouse Beacons Facebook group. I will also put in the Lifeboat group that if anybody is trying to really eat better and be healthier and all of those things, if they feel like they need the support and they need people that they can join us over at the Disco Ball Warriors, and I'll see if Mr. Alfonso, wonderful Alfonso that we love, can maybe do us some kind of disco ball. Because wouldn't that be cool to have a shirt? We got to have a shirt now. I know that Misha is working to do something with the disco ball, but I will. She can have her own design with the disco ball, and I want her to go for it. But we can have a shirt with something called a disco warriors on it, warriors on it, and do this thing right. We're gonna do it. We're gonna be accountable. So if you're starting Weight Watchers, what are you supposed to do next? Get connected. Get connected with people and support. Put in your stuff in in your Weight Watchers app, whatever app you need to keep track of what you're eating for the day, do it. Whether at the end of the day you're way off thing, you can make better choices, but you've got to get connected with people so you can be accountable and they can help you through this. This is not something to be done by yourself and think, I've got this. And you need to go into it, whatever you're going in, whether you're using Weight Watchers or something else, realizing that you're going to fall, you're going to make a mistake, you're going to eat something you're not supposed to. But guess what? The next day starts all over again, and you get new chance, you get new points, you get new calories for the day. You can do this. Do not beat yourself up for one mess up. You just get right back on that horse and you keep going. And we can do this, but we can do it together. Okay? So let's do it together. I don't know. I mean, I'll be doing lives and I'll be talking about this, Sandy. What I'm going to do, what I think would be really good, and the reason why I want to set up its own little Facebook group for that is because we can do lives privately within that group, which means I can come on and we can do a group live. People can come on, they can give suggestions in with the chat that can help each other, and we can support each other that way. So I really, really think that that would be a really good thing where I can come into the Disco Warriors group that I'm going to set up, and we can make it we can do lives. I can do lives from there. And this way we could just start giving each other suggestions and whatever accomplishments in that group, if you've lost a pound, whatever you have done to be successful for the day, I want you to put it, no how matter how big or as little as it is. I will be kind of doing it from an angle of Weight Watchers, but it doesn't mean you have to participate in Weight Watchers to participate in that. And I didn't do I know I set this up with that title, but I want everybody to understand from the lifeboat that the reason I did it this way is because I wanted you to realize this is the tool I am using. So far, I'm loving it. I really am finding it pretty seamless. What tool are you going to do? Maybe it is Weight Watchers, maybe it's an app, but you've got to start putting tools in place for you to be successful if this is a journey you want to go on. And what is going to be the point where you're going to say, "Ah, I'm done." Is it this is it um the number on the scale? Is it the way you're feeling? What is gonna be the point where you're gonna get to say, "Nope, this is I'm done. I'm over it. I've had it. It's done. I can't do this anymore. I've gotta find something that works." And what works for me may not work for you, but let's start helping each other down this journey to be accountable and help each other through it. And we can do it with a lot of help and encouragement, encouraging others, and lifting each other up. And we can get this, and we'll do it. We're gonna do it, but we're gonna do it together. Dang on it, we're not gonna do it. We're gonna do it staying connected, right? Staying connected and staying connected with each other. So, with that being said, stay connected, you all. And guess what? We got you covered. And if you want the covered shirt, it's in the merch store too, as well. But again, we got you covered. We got each other's back. And stay connected, you all. I'll see you on the next one. And if I don't know if Tommy's coming when he's coming on, but if you're not, hop over to Alfonso. Please give some support. He will be on in about 10 minutes. So go please over and give him the support. I know he will tremendously appreciate it. So stay connected, everybody, and y'all, and we got you covered. Talk to you later. And Scott will be singing us right out.